At it again, and I have a superstar to show y'all. Okay, this is somebody that you guys are probably familiar with. Well, I know you're familiar with this individual, and her name is Michaela Montgomery. She is the black woman from Chick-fil-A. If you guys remember that, where Trump went to Chick-fil-A and the black chick said, "Mama, we made it," kind of deal, and gave Trump a big hug and everything like that. That's Michaela Montgomery. She also gave a speech at one of his rallies. Here, actually, I can pull it up. It was in Georgia. This one right here.
Unbelievable person with a great personality. You lit up the whole room. You lit up the whole room. I said, weeks later, I'd go, who is that person that was so incredible? She knew everything about me. She had no idea I was coming. She knew everything about me. And the historically black college.
I want to add on to some of the remarks that were made by others. And
so, yeah, that's Michaela Montgomery. Well, she recently went on to a show and let me tell you something. She absolutely owned these Democrats that called in, because they did like a live, matter of fact here, Washington Journal, C-SPAN. She did like a live, people could call in and ask her questions and things like that. And of course, she had some ignorant Democrats who called in and tried to get her caught up in stumbling over some questions or some answers. And nope, she took it in stride. And boy, I got to show y'all this. So with that being said, let's dive in.
They're never going to let you in the club, okay? And you, like the movie Django, you are the character of Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know the exact, terminology, but, not Uncle Tom, but, Uncle Tommy, or, you were a complete sellout.
First of all, it sounded like that was a non-black person telling me that. So as a Democrat, that sounds pretty racial and pretty divisive. Next, it's very interesting that I, again, would be called names or be compared to fictional characters because of who I choose to support. Again, these people who are calling and making these derogatory statements about me, who I choose to support, are denying the fact that, again, who are you to tell me that my personal experience is invalid? I think that that's something that a lot of Democrats need to look within, because how have you tried? Kamala Harris is in office right now and has not tried to do anything about the border, has not tried to not tax people on tips, and has not tried to do anything about our failing education system. So everything that she's promising she can do for you on day one, she could do right now, but she's not trying to. So that's something to, for some Dems to take home. So are you telling me that with all the black wealth that exists here in Atlanta, with all the black millionaires that live here in Atlanta, why in the world do 92% of APS students are illiterate? Make it make sense. And we have Democratic mayors, we have Democratic city council members, we have Democratic commissioners, and for whatever reason, 92% of the kids here cannot read.
And I've brought up that exact same point. And I always bring up the famous example of Chirac, aka Chicago. That city has been run by Democrats for 100 years. And how well is that going? Stores are literally boarding up their store, their place of business right now, ahead of the DNC. Now, why would they be doing that? Goodness gracious. And you can't blame a Republican. First off, that city's run by Democrats, has been run by Democrats for 100 years. And it's not Republicans coming to the city. It's Democrats coming to the city, right? Did they board up anything when Republicans had the RNC? I didn't see any boarded up windows or boarded up businesses when Republicans had their RNC. So why are things being boarded up with the DNC? But we're the party of violence? I think that says everything you need to know. They can talk, but as the saying goes, actions speak louder than words. They could say Republicans are the violent and nasty and terrible people. Well, then why are you boarding up your businesses before the DNC? But nobody did it before the RNC. Just something. But let's continue on with Michaela's wonderful speaking.
Democrat. Hi, Sam.
Hi, good morning. And I have a question I want to ask her first. And then if you will indulge me, I do have a comment I'd like to make after I hear her answer to my question.
Sure, go ahead.
Before we get into it, too, remember she did all that complaining about the lack of education, but we also have Republican governor here who had a hand in that as well. So it goes both ways. Anyway, I want to ask her. She touts herself as a smart person, so let's test it. What is the mitigating factor that made the Democratic South turn over to the Republican Party? And I'm waiting for your answer.
What made the Democratic South turn over to the Republican Party?
What is the mitigating?
I don't know what answer you're looking for, and I wouldn't know how to answer that. But I can say, again, I only speak to my personal experiences, sir. So for people to question my intelligence as if my life is somehow invalid is very interesting to me.
So Sam, go ahead with your point.
Yes,
I believe you're talking about the Civil Rights Act.
The answer to the question is the Civil Rights Act.
The same Civil Rights Act that was authored by Republicans? Okay.
Can I finish, please? Mm-hmm. Okay. The act that gave you the right to sit in the chair that you're sitting in right now and vote. People in the city that you just moved into 10 years ago died for that cause. There are people still fighting for that same cause as we speak. In America, they were in the southern part of this state to which I live and I love. They caught people trying to fake the electors in this state in the Republican Party.
We also caught illegals with IDs and trying to vote.
So
but I guess we
if you will look at the history to which I'm sure you claim to know or you do know the history of your state, you should be aware that people have died for the cause to vote. And now the people that
also died for the cause for us to read.
Hold on, Kayla, let him finish.
May I finish, if it's okay? Your mother should have taught you a little better than that.
All right, Sam, just go ahead and finish your point.
Thank you.
Okay. But the people that have died for this cause are still fighting for the same cause. Now, it's okay if you want to be Republican or Democrat, but not these Republicans. They are of a different ilk. They are of a different structure. They are the same structure that left the Democratic Party to come to the now Republican Party. And that's my comment.
All right, Sam. Go ahead, Kayla.
All right, so let's start.
Hold on, before she gets into it, bro, I feel the exact same way she feels. Because I get all this talking crap the same way she's getting it. I've gotten the same types of conversations, in my personal life when I'm having conversations with folks. Bro, I feel the exact same way she feels. This is like... But let me let her speak. With the
1964 Civil Rights Act, or the Voting Rights Act, correct? That was all a ploy by Lyndon B. Johnson to get black people to support the Democratic Party for the next 200 years. And unfortunately, the tactic worked because, much like you heard our caller say, they're still fighting for the right to vote. There's not one American citizen without a felony who does not have the right to vote. All you need is an ID, and you can go vote. He also didn't acknowledge the fact that while he's saying we had fake electors, we also had fake citizens going to vote in our election. So, of course, I guess we just won't talk about election integrity in that sense. Next, the ploy to get black people to vote for them for the next 200 years was a fear tactic because, again, black people then thought that if they did not vote Democrat, they would lose their right to vote. And even though Ronald Reagan came in and didn't take away black people's right to vote, for whatever reason, Democrats every election season get up and talk voter suppression, protect your right to vote. Black people died for the right to vote. Black people also died for the right to read. So I wish a lot of you would please go read the Willie Lynch letters. I wish a lot of you would go read more about Jim Crow and how, the system were set up to basically make us believe that we were victims for the rest of our life. So now let's talk about the migrant issue and how it relates to the 1964 Voting Rights Act, correct? The Voting Rights Act was put in place so that black people would be a loyal Democratic voting base. Black people are now leaving the Democratic Party.
Wait. Kayla, you're saying that the only reason the Civil Rights Act was passed was for votes?
No. The major portion of said legislation was the fact that it gave black people the right to vote, right? And Democrats touted the fact that they gave black people the right to vote. They then used fear-mongering to make black people believe that if they did not vote Democrat, they would lose their right to vote and whatever other rights and resources that were granted to them by these Democrats, correct? Now that you see black people leaving the Democratic Party, now that you see black people calling out the Democratic Party, now that you see black people tired of living in the same conditions that they were in when the bill was signed, they no longer have that loyal voting base. So you know what they're doing now? Now they're opening the borders. They're letting these migrants in. They're giving them these welcome packages full of food stamps, housing assistance, whatever else, housing and clothing and whatever else it is maybe that they need in order to come over here and live comfortably. Why? Because now when you have these illegal migrants coming over here and it's clear that the Republicans are like, no, get them out. Now you have a new loyal voting base who's like, oh God, if we don't vote for the Democrats, we're not only going to lose our right to vote, but we're possibly going to lose our our citizenship as well. It's never been a thing where we're going to do this for the betterment of the black community or the Latino community. It's always been we're going to do this so that we can stay in power, and we're going to manipulate the masses into believing that we are for them. And even though they will continue to vote for us, we will never do anything for them, but we will play on their feelings for stuff that we did 60 years ago.
Okay. And Dave.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. I couldn't have said that any better. I literally, I mean, you look at some of these cities that have been run by Democrats, that are run by Democrats, and look what's happening. I said this just the other day. You know, this, and I said it in relation to abortion, because there was I believe there was a black woman that was talking about, it was in the Anton Daniels video. There was a black woman talking about abortion rights. And I'm like, yo, so you mean to tell me Democrats are literally replacing you in your face, replacing you. We've seen that in Chicago, right? I've shown y'all the videos. They closed down the schools in the black areas of Chicago because they didn't have any funding. They didn't have the money. But as soon as the illegals came in, oh, we got all this money. And not only did they reopen the schools, but they renovated them so they could house the illegals, and some of them could go to school in the same building. But they didn't have the money when the blacks were there complaining like, yo, why are y'all closing our school in our area? Like, this is our school. Why y'all closing? Oh, we didn't have any money. Well, we don't have the money. So you close it for the black people, but you open it for the illegals. Like, blatantly replacing you in your face. And yet, we're supposed to just still keep voting for that? Like, I'm just supposed to just go along just to get along? Even though I see them trying to replace my race in my face? What sense does that make? But I'm a Uncle T. I'm all these types of names because I don't just follow the script and shut my mouth just to get along. Right. But I also want to show y'all this little tidbit, and we'll get out of here.
And good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I would like to address my comment to Mrs. Montgomery. If she doesn't know how she's in her current station of life based on resources or housing taxes or just her luck of the draw, I agree, you're not very smart. Thanks for taking my call.
Wait, Aaron. What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Exactly. Let's sound smarter when we ask the question, please.
Well, yeah, you made a comment earlier when you were living in Nevada and you moved to Atlanta. I don't know if it was my resources in Nevada because I guess they had pretty good school system.
Actually, we don't. Nevada was ranked very low when it comes to education. It just so happened that our government allocates our dollars better. But go ahead.
But initially you said you didn't know if you were smarter, but if you think resources
in regards to how I feel my level of intelligence is in relation to the people that I've met out here.
Yeah, Michaela, let him finish. Go ahead, Aaron.
I'm sorry for talking while you're interrupting. Well, you go ahead. Carry on.
I think I understand what you're getting. You heard my sentiments earlier in which I said I moved out here, and I don't want to say that I feel like I'm smarter than anybody else, but was it the resources that were allocated to me? Was it the fact that I got lucky with amazing teachers? Nevada ranks very low on education. So let's not act like, oh, all of a sudden I'm not smart. No, I noticed that even with Nevada being ranked so low in education, I felt like the quality of education that I received was much better than the ones that kids are receiving out here.
Out the property taxes.
Okay,
There's also another part of this conversation that I wanted y'all to hear too, but I don't think I wrote it down. Let's see if I
whatever else that housing and clothing and that were 60 years ago.
Somebody with
Brab above her.
Oh, here we go.
Maryland Democrat.
It was this Democrat from Maryland. Y'all gotta hear this part too. I promise. After this, I'm gonna end the video. I'm not gonna show y'all the whole thing, but I just wanted y'all to hear this part too.
Good morning, Jill.
Yes. First, I'd like to know why she feels she has to smirk, neck roll, eye roll, and insult everybody that calls her, speaking over them. First of all, she is not that knowledgeable. She has not had experiences that other people have not had and not come out bitter and turning on people who helped her. She's like the proverbial crab in a barrel who pulls down any crab above her.
Well,
that's
Jill,
moving on.
do you have a specific question for Kayla?
Yes, did she set up the Chick-fil-A Trump event?
Is that the question? The answer to the
Yeah.
question is no. I actually just got invited to meet President Trump at a restaurant, and I found out the next morning that it was Chick-fil-A, and nobody that wanted to meet him was offended by the fact that it was a Chick-fil-A, and neither was I. But to go back to the, I don't know why she smirked, why she neck rolls, while she talks over people. It's okay for you guys to get on here and call me an Uncle Tom, to call me not smart, to call me dumb, to say I haven't done my research, to say I haven't lived a life like you. But then if I smirk, if I laugh, oh my God, what is this person talking about? Now all of a sudden you're offended. I think that's very interesting. Next, to say that I'm a crab in a barrel and I'm pulling people down. Actually, how could I be pulling people down if I was in the bottom of the barrel with the rest of you crabs and I decided to crawl out? And now here I am calling out the discrepancies that I've seen in the Democratic Party and asking you, why is the hood still the hood? The hood was the hood when you were a child. The hood is still the hood now that I have a child. That's 3 generations in which the Democrats have done nothing to help you. So it sounds more like you're the crab at the bottom of the barrel trying to keep everybody down there, and I'm the crab that crawled out, and I'm saying, hey, let's get back to the beach.
Kayla, we've got...
Hey, drop the mic. Talk that talk, Michaela. My goodness. Did you hear that? Did you hear it? We are the crabs that crawled out of the barrel. We aren't the crabs pulling the other crabs down. We're the crabs standing on the top of the ledge like, yo, you can climb out too. Get on up here. What you doing? It doesn't make any sense. You've been voting for the same people for 60 years. In the hood, in the hood is still the hood. The hood is still the hood. It's people still dying every week. We still killing each other every week. It's still poverty in the same place. The same place that it was 40, 50 years ago. It's still poverty. In the same party runs that same place that has ran it for the last 50 years. And I'm supposed to just keep signing up for that? Make it make sense. But people like me and Michaela are the crabs in the barrel pulling the other crabs back down. But y'all keep voting for the same people that you've been voting for 50 years. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Bro, I'm so happy she said that, bro. Oh, man. Because, of course, I've been accused of the same thing. I'm voting against my race. Oh my goodness. Y'all just don't understand, man. Cause I get that same type of treatment that she got right there from that. It sounded like a black woman. From that lady there at the end. I hear the same stuff. I'm a crab in the barrel trying to pull the other crabs down. And it's like, yo, no, I'm not in the barrel with you. I'm not a victim. I'm not. I've climbed out. I've been to the beach. And I'm like, yo, like, y'all can climb out too. Like, we can all, like she said, like, we can all get back to the beach, baby. Like, it's good out here. It's good. And y'all looking up at me trying to pull me back down into it. Nah, I ain't going. But shout out to Michaela, man. Proud of her. She doing her thing. Okay? She doing the dang thing. Okay? But as always, y'all stay safe out there. Share this with somebody. Peace and love. I'm out.